So we are here with the finals of the Milwaukee Open, sponsored by Ultimate Guard, Matthias Hunt and Ryan Overturf. On the left is Sam Jadin, the 1-9-0 player from day one, 5-1 on day two, winning the top 8 match, winning the top 4 match. Ad nauseum has been the meta call this weekend, for sure. He's just been dominating Dredge, dominating Burn. Those were the two best decks, or most represented decks on day two, and he's got one deck left to beat.
And he's playing against a Brew, but of course, deckless faced up, and he defeated Caleb Durward earlier in this very tournament.
Yeah, so Caleb, the last person to try to stop him on Bant Spirits. This is a deck that he's been streaming for a while. It's a lot of his own design. He has had to really fight it out here last round, just narrowly dodging defeat against Scapeshift. Won his top 8 match against Affinity. Bant Spirits, one of the newer decks here, to be fair.
I just noticed going into this match, Jadin actually wearing, looks to be an Ulamog shirt. That would explain why he's so hard to beat. He's indestructible.
His indestructible, the hunger he has, the hunger for wins, you could describe it as ceaseless.
Caleb does have Path to Exile in his deck. Horrendous in this matchup, but probably pretty good against that t-shirt.
So Sam, as the overall 1 seed, will be on the play. Now, what we've been seeing from Sam Jadin out of Ad nauseum is while he has the ability to turn 4 combo people, it's actually been more like 5 and 6 out of Ad nauseum. He's been winning games just by going slow, making land drops.
Utilizing Phyrexian Unlife and Angel's Grace as ways to buy more turns.
Right.
Yeah, the deck doesn't have a ton of play. You know, if Fog isn't good, and it's a specific brand of Fog. It's a brand of Fog that's terrible against Infect.
Yeah. This is not, Ad nauseum's interesting in that, as far as combo decks, it's not one of the best decks out of the box. But if you can predict your metagame right, it can be very good here. And like I said before, only the 2 most popular decks in day 2 here, Dredge and Burn. That's perfect for Sam.
Yeah, this is an excellent metagame, and not surprising to see him as the 1 seed, and that's certainly come in handy. That's been relevant across the top 8, and it certainly matters against Durward's Bant Spirits deck.
Against Burn, Phyrexian Unlife, a 3-mana spell that gain 10s that you can't Skullcrack. It's just perfect.
It's above average.
All right, so we start. Sam on the play, Caleb on the draw, both players on 7. Sam will start on Temple of Enlightenment. It's the tap land that scries 1, takes a card, and it looks like he likes what he sees. He will put it on top and suspend Lotus Bloom.
Lotus Bloom on suspend and a scry top off of a Temple. That would make me very wary as Caleb Durward.
So Caleb starts. He's got a 1-drop, hoping it could be the Wanderer, that or the Hierarch. His hand pretty decent here. It looks like he has a copy of Spell Queller and Collected Company with Noble Hierarch on turn 1. Caleb could race this.
Yeah. If he had a turn 2 Geist of Saint draft, that would be excellent.
So here's Breeding Pool from Caleb, goes down to 17. His life total not going to matter too much in this matchup, not until he's dead.
Right. Jadin deals a very large amount of damage with Lightning Storm or just wins outright with Laboratory Maniac.
Noble Hierarch from Caleb. So we go back to Sam. Second turn, Lotus Bloom ticks down to 2. And he draws, looks like the card he scried to top. Oh, pretty good. Ad nauseum. You see the Angel's Grace in his hand? Yeah, he is set up. Here is Sleight of Hand.
Just needs to make a couple land drops. Pact and Negation back up for this Lotus Blooms, probably the piece that he's looking for from here.
So picks which land he wants. I believe there was a Temple. So that's what he took. Temple of Silence, a scry 1. That's to the bottom. We're back to Caleb. He does have turn 2 Geist of Saint draft.
All right.
Spell Queller. But a big miss. Caleb doesn't have second land.
Ugh, turn 2 nothing.
Well, I mean, it's a great keep for Caleb. If you look at the fact that he has Geist, Spell Queller, and Company with the Hierarch, Caleb's got to keep this.
Yeah, and missing on the Geist, it could be fine if he's able to find a land drop and Spell Queller this Lotus Bloom.
Yeah, but it's got to be right now.
Yes.
You see Sam, and maybe even not, he goes for Pentad Prism here and suspends another Lotus Bloom. So he has 5 mana available next turn, maybe even 6. He could Ad nauseum Angel's Grace without the Lotus Bloom that's on suspend. Caleb draws, does hit the land this time, the basic plains. He put a Rattle Chains into play on the end step. He'll attack. The Spirit will exalt up to 3.
No, and it's looking like this hand is too good for Caleb to even have won this game at all by hitting that land drop. You know, the Pentad Prism makes it so there's too many targets for Spell Queller.
Caleb passes, so Lotus Blooms will tick down. In upkeep, Sam's going to attempt to cast that first Lotus Bloom. Does Caleb have a play? He does not. A draw by Sam. So 7 mana available. I believe Sam Jadin has the Ad Nauseam and the Angel's Grace. If that's true, there are no cards, I believe, that save Caleb here.
Hold on. Caleb has Rattle Chains on the battlefield. This means that he has the ability to flash in Mausoleum Wanderer.
Oh, whoa. You're right. Your Rattle Chains has the ability to give all the creatures in Caleb's deck flash.
So theoretically, Mausoleum Wanderer, 2 Mausoleum Wanderers, some combination of spirits could counter this.
So Angel's Grace, Ad Nauseam from Sam. He had 2 mana ups from Caleb. He would need 2 Wanderers, and he does not have that. He picks up the cards, and Sam rolls on. Game 1 is his now.
Right. That would have been really cool if Caleb had it, but I guess he can't have everything.
I like Caleb's keep. If he hits a second land in the first 2 turns, this is everything he would want.
Mm-hmm. He just does not have enough elements, and they interact in very specific ways. He can't really afford to mulligan a hand that could be casting turn 2 Geist of St. Traff, because sometimes that is a recipe for victory.
All right, so we're going to look at their sideboards here. Last time we played this match, we did not think Caleb had much in the sideboard. Running through it again, we did see him board in Stony Silence last time. He's got 3 copies of that. Anything else for the deck?
That's really about it. The Stony Silence is the big find here. Kasali Pride Mage is the other card that you can bring in. It'll blow up a Pentad Prism and is a creature lower on your curve so you can speed up your clock. So those are the only real cards we're looking at. On Jadin's side, we have 3 Hurkyl's Recall, 4 Leyline of Sanctity, a Phyrexian Unlife, an Esper Charm, 2 Thoughtseize, a Slaughter Pact, 2 Spellskite, and a Pact of Negation. We did see him cast Thoughtseize earlier. Assume those will be coming in again.
If you missed it, the first time they played, Sam had boarded in his Thoughtseizes, and Caleb kept a hand of turn 2 Selfless Spirit into Geist of St. Traff, and Sam on turn 2 Thoughtseized away the Geist, and then Caleb just attacked for 2 and 4, and Sam, I think, won on turn 6, and it was fine.
Yep, the Thoughtseize just busted that game wide open, and Caleb even top-decked a Stony Silence in that game, but Sam had enough time to just get enough lands.
So Caleb will be on the play, and if he can turn to the Geist, that actually means his deck could be faster than Sam's.
Yes.
We'll see if that can happen. Now, this is our last match here at the Milwaukee Open as we work our way through Season 3, but we have 3 more Opens next month, in the month of November. So in 2 weeks, the SCG Tour will be moving back east to Baltimore. That's our Legacy Open of the season, November 5th and 6th. The following week, we'll go to Columbus, where we'll be playing Modern again. Then the next week in Knoxville, the 19th and 20th is going to be Standard. So we have a main event open in each formats coming up next month. If you want to come join us on the tour, of course, you can play any format any weekend, as our Sunday Classics are always in the format that the main event is not. So all 3 are available. And of course, at the beginning of December, we conclude Season 3 with our Atlanta Invitational. That's a full 3-day event, December 2nd and 4th. If you win an invitation, you can play the Invitational that starts on Friday. And of course, remember, there's also a Open that weekend, as well as Classics, so all formats for all players here on the tour.
Plenty of great stops. Certainly be making. I'm going to see if I can make it out to play Columbus. I don't know if we'll be able to, but if the field's working out the way it is, I think this could be a good spot for Grixis Delver.
You say that every week.
That's true.
That's just because it's true every week?
Why would it be false?
All right. Well, if you show up, it's not just the tournament you get to play in, but you do get a playmat as well. For the standard events, both Opens and Classics, we're giving away Dark Salvation. That's the Black XX Sorcery Zombie-making rare from the Eldritch Moon. For modern events, it will be Steel Overseer, the 2-mana 1/1 that pumps up his robot armies. Those are for modern Opens and Classics. And in Legacy, we go back to Sensei's Divining Top, the staple of miracles. This is the Eternal Masters art. So 3 great playmats for 3 different types of events. These are free with entry to any of our Opens or Classics here in Season 3.
Really cool playmats. Get yourself a full set. My roommate did this weekend. Somewhat a playmat collector.
Which one do you get?
He got all of them.
He played all 3?
We played 2 tournaments, and then he got Eric Hawkins' other playmat.
Okay. Fair enough. Caleb back on the play. And I'm interested, if he picks his 1-drop, Noble Hierarch or Mausoleum Wanderer?
I think Wanderer.
Right, it's normally Hierarch, but
If you have Geist, you really want that, but you don't really want a Noble hand. If you could have both, that's great.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be turn 1 Wanderer.
Right, because I turn 2 the Wanderer and it'd be fine.
Yeah, it's just a Force Spike or a Spell Pierce. It can show up on turn 3 or whatever. But Noble Hierarch on turn 1, yeah, you want that. But if I knew I could have Wanderer and it would be at the expense of ever having Hierarch in my hand, I would take Wanderer.
Easy mulligan for Sam Jadin. Caleb has capped on 7.
And Ad Nauseam will give you some of those. Too many Ad Nauseams, too many Angel's Graces.
Some lands, a Pentad Prism, and an Angel's Grace.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh, that looks like a shrimp.
Not what I would call a functional hand.
Two unlifes and 1 Angel's Grace and some lands, and ooh, that's a bunch of garbage.
4 Lotus Bloom. Simian
no,
Spirit
wait.
Guide.
4, don't hold on. I like 4 Lotus
You'll
Bloom.
snap off.
I'm gonna play that
Gonna
one.
snap off any quad Lotus Bloom hand.
Yeah, in what format is 4 Lotus Blooms ever not excellent?
What if it has 0 lands? It's like 4 Lotus Bloom, 3 Serum Visions. I guess you could just cast them all on that last turn. Yeah, that sounds great. This
as soon as I top deck a land, this hand's great.
Probably unbeatable.
Yeah, are you telling me that 12 free mana, 12 one-time use mana, I can do something with that?
I'm just spitballing here, and I guess I'm doing it to the wrong guy.
Caleb starts out on the play. He does have one of those 1-drops. Last game, he had Noble Hierarch. That was not enough. This game, he's going to have Maelstrom Wanderer.
Mausoleum Wanderer.
I keep calling him Maelstrom Wanderer. That guy's way different.
Turn 1, Maelstrom Wanderer.
That just wins games.
Pretty messed up card. Takes a couple Black Lotus to get you there.
I think it's because look at all the mist around this guy. He looks way more like he's inside a Maelstrom than that he's hanging out in a mausoleum.
He's a spirit.
Yeah, I get that. He's in a cemetery. We're in Eldritch Moon, okay?
It's very spooky.
But, yeah. He's going to do it off of Breeding Pool, down to 17 for Caleb. Sam has kept on 6. Draws Seachrome Coast, passes turn. No Lotus Blooms being suspended here.
No temples.
Not yet, at least. Yeah, leading on Seachrome Coast without a play makes you wonder, okay, does he have enough lands? Turn 2, Selfless Spirit from Caleb. That pumps the Wanderer, and it'll attack for 2. Sam down to 18. We go to Sam's second turn. Draws City of Brass, passes.
No Pentad Prism either.
No, he's got 2 Simian Spirit Guides.
Okay.
Caleb, land number 3. Swings both creatures. That's for 3. Now, he could have played a creature pre-combat, but decides not to. He just passes the turn. That really seems like a Spell Queller.
Oh, yeah. Smells like a Spell Queller from here.
Land go from Sam. And this is one of the things that Caleb was talking about. I think if he can turn on the play Mausoleum Wanderer into Spell Queller, I think he's the favorite. Those are his interactive cards.
And I like this here. Durward's representing Spell Queller, cracks his fetch land. Jadin casts Esper Charm in response.
Ooh.
Maybe he'll get the Wanderer for it.
Believe it's a draw 2 is the mode that Sam has picked.
Yeah, he was reaching for his deck, and Caleb says, no, sir.
No, Zach's the Wanderer. You got to pay 1 more for that.
All right.
Sam will do it. All right. I'll give up a Spirit Guide for 2 cards. That's fine.
Only need 3 of these, max.
I get a real pleasure out of paying for counterspells with Simian Spirit Guide.
It's like cheating.
It's just, yeah, okay. I'm this Esper colored deck. I'm gonna make a red.
Every time that happens to me in Modern, I feel a little sore about it. When it happens in Legacy and I daze a spell, I feel like I deserved it. Daze is pretty messed up. But if I'm playing blue cards in Modern, it's pretty heinous that there's cards that are just good against my cards.
Right. Simian Spirit Guide feels unfair, and if you're playing Daze, you feel like, well, okay, you're cheating too.
Yeah.
And it is going to be an end-step Spell Queller by Caleb. Just going to go get more pressure onto the board. He draws for the turn. Stony Silence is the draw. He has both Collected Company and another Wanderer in his hand. So swings for 4, puts Sam down to 10. No more lands, though. That could be trouble. Taps 3. Engineered Explosives on 3.
Okay, the idea to cover a Phyrexian Unlife.
Yeah, I was just going to ask what we're on. We're at 3 mana. The draw from Jadin is a Seachrome Coast. Now, it's his 4th land, so it's not going to come into play untapped. He'll play it neither with that Dark Six Shores in his hand. And he does have an Unlife in hand. So I like the play here from Caleb, and Sam's going to cast Unlife straight into those explosives.
And it makes sense to cast it. You know, Durward's not going to pop the explosives right away because they would kill his own Spell Queller, but he'll have it there on the turn when he needs to actually punch through and turn this into lethal attack instead of infect damage.
So Caleb draws Noble Hierarch. He still has not gotten to his collected Company mana. So his hand is Company, Stony Silence, Hierarch, and Wanderer.
And Wanderer Hierarch could be a really good sequence on this turn, though you don't want to tap out all of your mana.
Yeah. Plays Wanderer, swings for 4 with his Spirits. Sam goes to 5. He does not play Hierarch. He looks like he wants to leave up those engineered explosives.
And opted for Wanderer because being able to counter ad nauseum also important here.
Dark Slick Shores the play for Sam. Or no, Blue-Black Temple. Apologies here. So he gets a Scry of 1.
Temple of Deceit.
Now he's got to decide. He is facing down lethal. I guess this is 5 power. Caleb can put Sam to 0, and then he sacrifices engineered explosives. There is lethal on board.
Yep. Yeah, unlike Angel's Grace, allows you to go to 0. And then if it's gone, suddenly you can lose the game for having less than 0 life. Or less than 1 life, I suppose.
If Sam's contemplating a scry here, it means he's not just dead on the board.
Yes.
So
or he's trying to sell that fact.
You can sell it all you want, but Caleb's probably there's no reason Caleb wouldn't call you on it anyway.
Right.
Caleb draws there's land number 4. So swing with the team. Does he have lethal? This is lethal. It's 5. Angel's Grace from Sam. All right.
Yep, kind of have to do that one.
So any damage that would bring him to less than 1 brings him to 1 instead, so Sam goes to 1. The 4th line is different, Caleb. It is Razor Verge Thicket, so he can't play Company just yet, which means instead he'll play out that Noble Hierarch in his hand and continue to leave up mana for his engineered explosives.
And there's no reason to cast Stony Silence here. Pentap Prison wouldn't do anything, and there's no Lotus Blooms on Suspend, so that's just going to hang out in Caleb's hand.
Sam scried to the bottom with his Temple. He does have his Lightning Storm already in hand if you're looking at his cards. Caleb's still got to be concerned, though. I guess Ad Nauseam Angel's Grace would need 7 mana to do it through the Wanderer. What is the draw? It's Serum Visions from Sam. He's going to cast it, but as he goes lower on mana here, it feels more and more like a win for Caleb Durward.
And he just doesn't have any way to get that Wanderer off the table outside of Caleb sacrificing it to counter a spell.
Draws and scries 2 to the bottom. He has now found his Ad Nauseam, but how to survive here? Because of how this works, Caleb can attack Sam to a negative number and then sacrifice the engineered explosives. He won't lose any of his own creatures. Just when those explosives go away and the unlife goes away, Sam just dies.
Yep. Yeah, it looks Jadin does have Lightning Storm in his hand, but
Can't cast that.
Well, he has a Summoning Spirit Guide and a City of Brass, and he can respond to the damage trigger off the City of Brass and just cast it, but he doesn't have enough lands to kill Durward.
Well, then he still just loses because he goes to 0.
Yeah, well, he can't cast it is the problem because he doesn't have enough lands to kill Durward.
So Caleb swings, deals damage, and then, gets rid of the 3-cost permanents. So Samuel was living in his Phyrexian unlife and then brought back to reality. And the reality was he didn't have any life points.
That's why you don't make deals with the Phyrexians. They're the bad guys.
Yeah. No, they'll let you live for 10 more life points. You can live after you're dead.
So they say.
Yeah. Going back to the sideboards here. Gonna have a 3rd game. So Caleb takes, for the first time today, takes a game off of Sam Jadin. Now evens it up at 1 apiece. Sam will be on the play here. So going back to that game, so Sam was on a mulligan. Caleb had a great hand. Mausoleum Wanderer into Spell Queller. But when you go back to how it played out, Mausoleum Wanderer countered an Esper Charm, and Spell Queller didn't counter anything, but Caleb won anyway.
It was really more a matter of the Ad Nauseam deck not cooperating with Jadin. We saw him lead on Seachrome Coast, not a Scry Temple. Not very much in terms of card selection. He drew the Lightning Storm. He drew a bunch of Simian Spirit Guides. No Lotus Blooms or Pentad Prisms. It's possible he's going lower on those cards because he knows about Stony Silence.
So if my game plan in Modern is on the draw to play 6 lands and then play a 6-mana combo, I might lose to someone.
You might lose to somebody playing any Modern deck with any kind of functional hand.
I might lose to like standard decks.
You would lose to some draft decks.
Yeah. And that played out there. So we're going to 3 now. What, of course, is at stake? Both these players with their finals appearance get their invitational qualification, as did the entire top 8. But a lot on the line here. 30 SCG points to the winner and 25 to the runner-up. So 5 points to the winner. And don't forget, a full $5,000 to the winner and $2,000 to the finalist. So there is a lot at stake for this 3rd game.
Oh, yeah. Winning one of these opens feels pretty good.
Now, looking there with those points, a lot of interesting developments on the SCG Tour Players Race, especially with Jacob Baugh getting 15 points there. It moves him into the conversation for the Players' Championship. And
we were discussing earlier in the tournament, Baugh, one of the more quiet players with 10 open top 8s. He's a very solid performer, and I'd be worried about him at my heels.
Make that 11. Gott did it today as well.
Quieter still in the 11 top 8 conversation.
Some sort of 11th hour pun there, but I didn't have it.
You gave it your best, but your best wasn't good enough.
No, that's the worst. When you don't come up with a pun and then you just point out that, it's like trying to claim credit for it.
Somebody more clever than I had some pretty good wordplay in that spot.
Yeah, I definitely ran that line, and that's horrible.
I want you all at home to pretend that I'm much funnier than I am because of my ability to point out good comedic timing.
But then fail to follow through on it. But we'll overlook that detail. Both players have kept on 7. Sam on the play. This is one decides it all. He'll start with the Temple of Enlightenment, a scry of 1. He'll put the card on the bottom of the deck, so we go back to Caleb. Does he have a 1-drop? The Mausoleum. Wanderer doing a lot of work first game. Fetch land and go. No Hierarch, no Wanderer. Ooh. Is it right to already be concerned from Caleb's spot? His deck's so slow when he doesn't have those.
Might be keeping on Stony Silence, but no suspended Lotus Bloom, no Pentad Prism on turn 2.
Well, Sam's deck's being slow here as well. He plays, Dreadship Reef and go, so no Prism, no Bloom. He's playing pretty fair with his mana. Now, Dreadship Reef is a storage land. If this game starts to get slow and bogged up, can do some work.
Well, Caleb's not casting anything terribly threatening on turn 2. It's just going to be some 2-power creature.
Rattle Chains.
If it's anything.
Selfless Spirit.
So you'll have time to charge that Dreadship Reef. It only takes a couple counters. Every counter beyond the first, assuming you're able to win, say you have Pact of Negation backup, it's just Time Walk.
Second line for Caleb. First card is Selfless Spirit. Sam starts to charge up the Reef. See, I'm into a deck. What I want to see from Sam is Darkslick Shores 3 Spirit Guides win. But we're probably not seeing that.
I think that the odds are low.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Instead, he's going to go for the more conservative line of Temple of Silence.
You can't even do that. If you pitch a bunch of Spirit Guides and you have no Lotus Blooms, you don't have anything to cast your win condition after you Ad Nauseam.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, this deck's not actually good at beating the turn 4 rule.
Okay. Ugh. Caleb gets some damage in. Selfless Spirit comes into the fight, and now he's got his 3rd land up. Plays Gavany Township. And he's going to tap for Geist to St. Traft. At this point, this is dangerous because Sam ramps with the Dreadship Reef to 4.
One more untapped land, Simian Spirit Guide.
This is way more reasonable. And then we go back to Sam Jadin's hand. Can he do it?
Got a Pact of Negation back up now.
No, he just plays a Temple. Scries to the top. I'm concerned if I'm Caleb that just happened, though.
Yes.
A draw for Caleb. He's got a lot of damage now. Remember, Geist of St. Traft hits so hard. It hits for 6. This is an 8-point swing from Caleb, and he does have Collected Company in his hand.
Given that Jadin did not cast it this turn, it's likely we're looking at Angel's Grace, not Unlife, if you just assume that he has a combo ready to go.
I mean, my biggest concern is that Sam just went Scry to the top. If that's what happened, and I'm in Caleb's seat, I think I'm dead next turn. Or at least that Sam's going to go for it.
Right. And if Caleb's interaction is Collected Company, Sam's got him covered with that Pact of Negation.
Well, Caleb, so he has Company, Kasali Pride Mage. Those are the 2 big hits in his hand. He doesn't have something like a Spell Queller. So and now he has to think, what are the ideal collected company hits he could have. So, you know, you might think, if I company into 2 Drogskull captains, do I win? Looking at the board, it would be 12. So the answer is no. So probably doesn't go for that. The issue is that if he tries to company on Sam's turn and Sam has packed backup, well, Caleb loses.
Yep, that's all she wrote.
But maybe he can't play around that. If he can't play around that, then, okay, things get creative again. If he companies, if the plan is to company into Maelstrom Wanderers, then he should do it now, because if Sam has to pact that, he can't pact it right now. He'd have to pay on his own turn.
Right.
Unless he has Angel's Grace, in which case, okay, none of this works.
Yeah, it looks like the incentive is to just company on his own turn. If he finds 2 Mausoleum Wanderers, that might be what he needs to win this game.
So he swings, puts the Angel token into play, and we might see him go for Collected Company now. If he does, and Sam has Angel's Grace ad nauseum, Pact of Negation, none of this matters. Sam's got him.
Yep. And he's just kind of acting as if Sam can't kill him on the following turn, because Caleb can't kill him this turn anyway, and he can't win through Pact of Negation backup anyway. So just cast a Collected Company right now. Hope you find something that puts Sam in a bad
Wanderers,
spot.
Something like that.
Either turn up your clock or turn up your disruption. You're not going to be able to do anything with a Spell Queller because you can't counter Ad Nauseam or Angel's Grace anyway.
All right, so Caleb will collect some company on the stack. Sam's got to decide if, okay, it's going to happen. Caleb is looking for Maelstrom, for Mausoleum Wanderers. Here's 1 Wanderer and a Noble Hierarch. Yeah, 2 Wanderers would have made, so now he can tax 1 extra mana on Sam's turn. If it was Drogskull Captain, then the Wanderer would have 2 power, and it would be a little more impactful here.
Right.
So his hit is medium. It's not great.
As is, if Sam remembers to charge up the Dreadship Reef, he'll be going into his turn with 6 mana on the table.
So yeah, 6 on the table. He has a card he likes on top of his deck. He has a City of Brass in his hand. That's 7. He has Ad Nauseam. I believe he has Angel's Grace. That would be the win for Sam Jadin if he has the 7th untapped land. I believe he does. Or maybe he does not. It's Serum Visions for him.
Must be missing a combo.
He scried to the top. I assumed he had the combo, but maybe he does not.
Kept Serum Visions because it sees on the most cards, I imagine.
And he went down to 10 on that attack. If Caleb gets another swing in, Sam's into the mode where he has to start Angel's Gracing every turn. Yeah, there is Spirit Guide. There's Ad Nauseam. But Pages in his hand, I don't see the white spell he needs. Either the Unlife or the Angel's Grace. Unless he has the untapped land and the Spirit Guide, because then this is free. It's free to Serum Visions here.
Sure.
Because he still has 7 mana.
Just covering all of his bases.
Right. If you don't need 8 mana for the combo. If you play through the Wanderer, might as well, I don't know, play the free Serum Visions in case you forgot something.
He's either frantically checking to see if he can lose this turn, or frantically seeing to see if Caleb cannot.
So he's either basically won or lost here. He knows which, we do not.
Right.
All right, so scries to the bottom. There is definitely, yeah, he's going for something. 3 black off Dreadship Reef. We'll confirm when he knows. He just wants to, he's got to double check on his line.
Feeling more like frantically digging the more time that passes.
Makes black, blue, blue. You can make it in any combination. Yeah, okay, so it's, I believe what it is that he does not have the Angel's Grace. Yeah, Esper Charm is the play. That is, ugh. Caleb will let that resolve. That certainly means we are frantically digging. Spirit Guide and something blue for Sam Jadin.
And just 2 mana left. He's very far away from being able to combo this turn now.
He doesn't have anything here.
Did he even find the Angel's Grace to fog?
Ad Nauseam looks like is in his hand. 2 Ad Nauseams, 2 Spirit Guides, and a blue Pact. Yeah, that was what he was sitting on. Pact Negation, 2 Ad Nauseams, 2 Spirit Guides. He never found the white card. And as it is, he plays a land and passes. The mana pool empties. He was hoping to find enough mana to maybe Spoils of the Vault into Angel's Grace and then top deck Angel's Grace.
Caleb just needs to activate this township, and he'll have the tournament.
6. Playing a spirit would work.
Yep.
Casting any spirit in his banned spirits deck. Playing any land. 3 mana here. This is not just any spirit. This is Drog Skull Captain. It's going to pump all 3 and pump the Wanderer twice. So this is now going to be a swing for 13. That's more than enough. And I think this might do it. The Ad Nauseam deck being so powerful today. Yeah, he's going to Pact of Negation the Drogskull Captain, which he has to.
Sam's kind of hoping that Mausoleum Wanderer tries to counter this, by my estimation.
Yeah.
Because he can't pay for this Pact, and he doesn't have an Angel's Grace.
Well, he can.
Well, he can pay. I mean, he can't win after paying for the Pact.
Well, it'd be what he's hoping that he would pay, top deck Angel's Grace, then he could Angel's Grace the next turn, and then if he top decks another Angel's Grace, he could Ad Nauseam Angel's Grace and win.
Mm-hmm.
So there is still a line here. It's just not a good one.
Sure.
Now Caleb's wondering, should Wanderer pay? Does he want to give Sam another turn? If he counters the Pact, then Sam gets all his mana, and I don't think he can do that. Then Sam's what, 1 Angel's Grace from winning again?
Right.
That seems... Well, I guess technically he's dead. Okay, if he counters the Pact, it is a 3/2 Selfless Spirit, a 3/3 Geist, and a 4/4 Angel, and that is 10.
Problem is the Wanderer is not large enough. He's just trying to...
Right? No, if he counters with Wanderer, just the Spirit plus Geist is 10.
Well, it's sitting
it's
there
not
right now as a
countering.
1/1. It's just
it's holding the
taxing
trigger
mana.
on the stack.
But it forces him to choose between paying 1 or casting Angel's
But
Grace.
now once he pays 1, now he can't Angel's Grace.
Now he's just dead?
No, wait, no. Drogskull's still countered, because he paid. So
Oh, you're right.
countered.
You're right.
It's countered. The swing is for 8. So Sam, what? He has to top deck Angels. If the top 2 cards of his deck are both Angel's Graces, then he's okay.
That'd be mighty good.
He has a City of Brass in his hand. So he goes down to 2 here. He has to pay for the Pact. If he can top deck Angel's Grace, he gets another turn, and then you have to top deck another one.
It's a tall order.
It would work, though.
It would?
And he's been trying to find those for so long and not hitting them. Draws. It's Lotus Plume. It is not Angel's Grace. There is the extension. And Caleb Durward with Bant Spirits. He takes down the 1 seed in the sideboard games, and he is your Milwaukee champion.
Sam Jadin, 2 losses in the entire tournament. Unfortunately, one of them in the finals. Great run, though. 2nd place finish. We'll see him in Atlanta, I assume. Caleb Durward, your champion with the innovative Bant Spirits deck.
Yeah.